I'm going to make a brief statement followed by the superintendent, and then we'll be here to answer some questions that you all may have. I would note that we may not be able to answer some of those are pending cases against co-defendants, and I would ask that we try and avoid questions about that, because honestly today is about Jamie Knoll and about the sentencing of Jamie Knoll, and that's what we're here for. So to begin with, as those of you who saw the stream of the victims that came in, it's hard not to empathize with those individuals. I mean, with the heartbreaking losses for slow run times or lack of equipment, jobs lost and careers changed and lives altered. I don't think that myself or Superintendent Carter could have described that to the point of what you just saw in there today. And I don't think that today fixes anything for those people. Maybe a little bit of solace for them, though. It's been the state's theory all along that Jamie Knoll's been the boss. And it's also been the theory that if you cut the head off the snake, then the body follows. And while it's our hope that the other cases will attempt to take care of themselves, each one of those will be differently. I will say again that the job's not finished here. There's still 4 other people. I cite back to, as the judge said, he gets appointed by the Indiana Supreme Court. Well, he's the one that tabbed me to come down here and handle this case. I didn't know who Jamie Knoll was. My experience with Clark County has been almost minimal. But back in August, when all those search warrants started the fall, 71 later, here we are. And now he's sentenced to the Indiana Department of Corrections for a period of 12 years, 15 with 3 suspended. A lot's changed. Law enforcement for 30 years, district chair, CEO, and now inmate at the Department of Corrections. I'd like to say in my mind that it ends today. It ends for him, it ends for his case. And the hope, you know, as I look around Clark County and the people behind me, that y'all can turn the page, that this chapter's closed, and that you can move forward and the healing can kind of start to begin. I know it won't be overnight, maybe even not in the next year, but in time. But at least in my eyes, the grip that Jamie Knoll had on this community is over. And nobody has to go through him to get elected for anything, to get medical care for anything, or to report a crime. Today's about accountability. Prison, restitution, all of those things. We'll stand aside now, too, to let the Attorney General work on the civil actions they have pending. Our case was the criminal part, theirs is the civil part. I want to thank Superintendent for all the, I guess, allowing of the detectives, CSIs, computer techs to be at our disposal to work through this case. That's how much emphasis he placed on this, how much emphasis the Indiana State Police. You got the best from the Indiana State Police. And I'd also like to thank my staff who's been with me throughout this from day one. And it's been a grind since the time of the appointment until now. I'm losing what little hair I have, and what's there is all gray now. So thanks. I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent, but echoing some of the judge's remarks, outlandish expenditures, tarnished badge, failed every officer, failed his family, all of those things. And the judge took that into consideration, but the judge, like us, the prosecution, has to take into account what the parameters of the law are, and that's why we ended up where we did. And we believe it's an appropriate sentence, and the punishment does fit the crime. I'll step back and introduce you to Doug Carter.
Just very briefly, I echo what Prosecutor Hurdle said. I think the word that keeps coming to my mind is that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and this is an example of of corruption. And every time this happens to a person dressed like me, no matter the color of their shirt, it takes away from who we are and how we are supposed to serve all of you. And I understand that. That's why we have done and will always do everything within our power to hold people accountable. I had, as I said in my comments in the courtroom today, I had no idea what we were about to learn. And I appreciate what you all have done over the course of this period of time. And you properly reported the facts from what occurred, and now, and certainly today. So I please accept my sincere thanks for what you've done. You should hold us accountable. You should hold us accountable. And I think today's an example of that. And I'm not going to apologize to anybody for what we have done in response to what Jamie Knoll did. It's going to take us a while to crawl out of that. I hope that the community here, that the people that live in southern Indiana that might have felt like he had a grab or a hold on them, understand today that that's no longer. That is absolutely no longer. We are human beings. We are human. And these kinds of things, these people are going to make choices that are going to bring a discredit to our profession. Continue to hold guys like me and gals like me accountable, to hold them accountable. I really feel very, very strongly about that. And sometimes it's hard to talk about, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't. So again, thank you. We'll take some questions. As the prosecutor said, this is still pretty active, so we have a pretty narrow lane of questions that we can answer, but I promise you we'll do the very, very best we can. Sir?
Rick, could you start by addressing Jamie Knoll's pension? What happens to that?
I know he's a retired Indiana State Police and he's a retired sheriff. As far as how the pension works, that's, as Superintendent said, that's out of my lane. I don't know what's going to happen to the pension, and it would be probably irresponsible for me to speculate on that.
Jamie Knoll did not retire as an Indiana State Trooper. He left several years before his eligible time. So he received a separation benefit, but it is not a retirement.
These crimes went on for so long. I think the question is there something wrong with the checks and balances in this county? Should there be more oversight?
Well, I think we always want the most checks and balances, but I mean, I think those are questions for the locals to say that, to answer that. The New Chapels and the Uticas and the Sheriff's Department and any other agency that he touched, I think only to protect yourself or an individual, why not have those checks and balances? It only protects the individual as well as the organization.
Rick, are you confident that he's going to be able to pay back the full amount of restitution?
Well, the order is there, and you heard the judge in the courtroom say today that there would likely be some sort of order coming about some of the restitution and how that might be addressed. There are a number of assets, obviously, in Jamie Knoll's names, including personal property and real property, and that's going to have to be something the judge will sort out, and or in the civil lawsuit with the Attorney General. My position is we've entered that amount in the plea agreement, but how it tends to occur is going to be more of a court decision or in a civil action.
For the superintendent, I believe Jamie did apologize for what he may have done to people who wear the badge. Did that resonate with you at all, his apology?
No. There were multiple times prior to this where he could have taken responsibility. I appreciate the question. The answer is absolutely not. It's easy to apologize when you got caught.
Superintendent, as far as the investigation into potential co-conspirators go, is there a timeline for your officers, or is this until the job is done investigation?
Until there's nothing left for us to do.
Okay, thank you.
Does Jamie Knoll have enough money to pay back the restitution that's in the order?
Well, the restitution amount between Utica, the Sheriff's Department, Department of Revenue, and the Indiana State Police totals about just over $3 million. Whether or not the assets will cover that, I don't know that fact right now. I don't. I think that's going to be someone doing an accounting of it, what he still owes on some of these personal properties and real properties, and what equity he might have in those.
What if they don't cover it? Is he in violation of the lien?
Well, I think the determination would need to be made then that he has an ability to pay and is knowingly not paying. So there would be a separate determination of that, because part of his conditions of probation when he's released from incarceration is that he will have to pay restitution if it's not paid back. And that's when the knowingly or intentionally not paying would come into account.
Does he get taken to prison today, or what does that process look like?
That will be up to the Department of Corrections. I know in Ripley County there are certain days that prisoners are picked up and taken to the Department of Corrections, and they usually go to what's called the RDC, Reception Diagnostic Center, where an assessment is made, and they will be taken then to the appropriate facility wherever that might be. But that's something out of the prosecutor's hands as well as the judge's hands. That's going to be up to the Department of Corrections.